Today's game features Carlsen, Magnus playing as white against Alexakis, Dimitris as black. Move 0. White brings out the knight to f3. Black pawn to c5. White now plays pushes to e4. Black pushes to e6. So, white advances on the flank. Black continues with brings out the knight to c6. White places the bishop on b2. Black expands on the side. White now plays pushes forward to g3. Black advances the pawn, preparing to castle. On move 5, white controls key squares with the pawn. Black plays advances the pawn. White completes minor piece development. Black advances the pawn, controlling key squares. White continues with brings out the knight to c4. Black develops the queen early. White advances on the flank. Black bishop moves to e6, controlling important diagonals. White now plays expands on the side. Black continues with bishop takes the knight. On move 10, white pawn captures the bishop on c4. It's black's turn. Knight takes pawn on a5. An error in judgment. Now, white knight snaps up the pawn. Black responds with repositions the bishop. White plays repositions the knight to f3. Black knight hops to c6. It's white's turn. Repositions the bishop for better activity. Black maneuvers the knight to e7, improving the position. White plays castles on the kingside. Black pushes the pawn to h5. We're at move 15. White places the bishop on c1, coordinating for maximum effect. Black advances to h4, not ideal. White knight jumps to g5. Black continues with reroutes the knight to g6, provoking weaknesses. So, pushes to f4. Black bishop to e7. White continues with deploys the queen to g4. Continuing, maneuvers the knight to b4. White moves the rook to f2. Black pawn captures the pawn on g3. Preparing to break through. On move 20, white pawn strikes, capturing the pawn. Restricting the opponent's pieces. Black slides the queen to c8, as the clock winds down. White now plays slides the queen to f5. Black castles short. White knight takes pawn, a sacrifice. Now, queen takes queen. With less than a minute on the clock. White pawn captures the queen on f5. Black king captures knight, gaining an advantage. At this point, white pawn takes knight, winning material. Check. Black king captures pawn. We're at move 25. White boldly takes pawn with the bishop. Black deploys the rook to a7. White bishop slides to e4. Giving check. Moving forward, black king marches up the board. White plays repositions the rook. Black moves the rook to c8. It's white's turn. Places the bishop on a3. Black bishop to d8. White bishop removes the knight. Black pawn takes the bishop. We're at move 30. White deploys the rook to f5. Checking the king. Black king walks to e8. Not the best move. White moves the rook to e2. Black plays bishop slides to e7. So, white bishop to f3. Now, black pushes to a5. White bishop moves to h5, and that's check. Creating unstoppable threats. It's black's turn. King steps to d7. Racing against the clock. Next, white rook takes bishop. With check. Needing to find moves quickly. Alexakis, Dimitris resigns. Carlsen, Magnus wins the game.